Hello everyone, my name is Julia. I'm a certified Montessori teacher and I'm also a mum of a 2-year-old named Isaac and a stepmom to a 9-year-old named Asher. And today's video is going to be a bit of reminder / an honest layout of the cost of Montessori. Before we begin, if you are new here, your subscription is always welcome. I am sorry I haven't been posting as much. It is the end of the year. It is report card season. Things are busy. I wanted to make this video because leading up to Isaac's 2nd birthday, I really wanted to purchase certain things for him. I did kind of splurge a little bit, but it got me thinking about what it really costs to raise your children using Montessori philosophies and Montessori methods. And my goal of this video is to really just kind of give you some reassurance if you're also in a similar boat, or if you are neck deep in Montessori at home and you feel overdrafted and like you've just spent bucket loads of money and spent bucket loads of time and you're not really feeling satisfied. This is also just a good reminder that what you see online or what people choose to post or share online is, as with any other aspect of life, merely a snapshot and not necessarily what is a realistic standard for you and your house and how you guys all work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through like actual costs. This is not starting Montessori at home for homeschooling, or if you send your child to a Montessori school. This is just you finding out about Montessori and it clicking with your philosophies and the way that you want to raise your children or your child, and how much you could end up spending for everything. So I made a little PowerPoint, which I will go through. Before I sort of go through what my research was, is I basically, for any of the pricing, it's a median price from 3 or more websites that sold the same or a very similar product. So what you're seeing is an average. It is in American dollars because that's what everything seems to be priced on when I researched. So this is just me taking it on an average. It is a gross estimate, not a specific estimate. But you can be guaranteed to spend in and around this just on outfitting for the Montessori. So if you're starting from babyhood or toddlerhood, you are looking at around $1,000, and that is for things from mobiles to the rattles and all of those beautiful little wooden pounding toys, etc., etc. Into the preschool years, if you're wanting to supply your preschool child with the basic kind of materials that you might find in a preschool classroom, whether or not you are homeschooling, you're looking at around $1,400. And this is just Montessori materials. So these are specifically Montessori materials designed for the curriculum, not any of the additional toys. And then going into elementary, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you'll have heard me mention that outfitting an elementary Montessori classroom does cost between $5,000 and $7,000. So this is, again, just those Montessori materials and the boxes that they come in, and all the nomenclature cards and all the specific this and that. Then you have the options of subscribing to some sort of Montessori inspired or Montessori themed box, and they range from Love Every, which is around $100 per month for 3 months, to Monty Kids, which is around the same price at $300 for a 3-month subscription. Then you have Montessori by Mom, which is around $50 a month, and then you have KiwiCo, which is not Montessori, but it's certainly the one that spans the greatest age range, and it's STEM or STEAM based things which are very conducive to the Montessori curriculum. There are a couple of other subscriptions. These are just the most popular that I see influencers or other people talking about the most. Then once you figured out your materials and any additional toys and whatnot that you want, then we're looking at the furniture. And boy, the furniture will eat up your budget if you choose to go all out. Anywhere like top towers, anywhere from $180 to $300, $400, including shipping or not including shipping. Then we have the shelves that everything comes on. If you want a floor bed, the cheapest thing that you can find is a toddler table or a preschool table that you can find a 2-chair set from IKEA for around $25. But your furniture, if you're looking to outfit with 2 or 3 major pieces or even just one piece, it can cost you upwards of $300, not including shipping, depending on where you are. That's it. So you could be spending thousands of dollars outfitting your child and your home and the environment for you and them to adhere as best as you can to the Montessori practices and philosophies and principles. And if you started sweating or if you're feeling a little frightened, please don't be, because you don't need all of this. In fact, my whole channel was started because I can't afford any of these things. My parents bought us the Tot Tower, which is probably the biggest Montessori item that we have for Isaac right now. I buy everything thrifted. If I do buy online, it's very specific, and I'm very careful with how much I spend. And my whole message to you, and perhaps a little bit of a reminder to myself, is that if you're wanting to adopt Montessori philosophy methods at home, it's an emphasis on the philosophy and the methods, not the things. And I've said this before and I'll say it again, but the fancy toys and the subscription boxes and the materials that you provide for your child as they're growing up will not make the difference between them being a kind and courteous and considerate member of their community as an adult or not. It's how you raise them, not what you raise them with. And if you are needing a place to start, or if you're scrolling through Instagram and all those accounts and there's these beautiful setups and you find yourself coveting that setup, just remember that the biggest gift that you will be able to give your child is teaching them how to be a member of society and how to take care of themselves and how to be adaptable and how to be kind. And all of those things can be done without those fancy furnitures. And unless you are setting up a preschool at home and you're homeschooling your child, you do not need to purchase all the materials. There are tons of resources, especially on Instagram, of fun DIYs and of upcycling and recycling things. And if you are saving in your budget for a specific toy or specific subscription, I highly suggest you look locally and see what you can find. Who can you support locally? And also being sure to observe your child and see what they're interested in. For example, Asher's really into sciencey things and observing, and so we got him a microscope, which isn't necessarily a Montessori material, it's just your average kind of gift, but it's again noticing what your child is interested in and what they gravitate towards, and being sensitive to that and providing in whatever way you can to that. It can be hard to not feel like you need to go out and buy everything, but you observing, spending quality time with your child, role modeling expected behaviors, and generally trying to learn about the philosophy behind Montessori rather than the presentations or the academic part of Montessori is going to be, in my opinion, more beneficial, because your child will be getting an education anyway, and whatever school you send your child to, you do have to trust that the educators are doing their best with what they have. And if you are feeling a need to complement your child's education with lessons, with Montessori lessons from home, with the specific Montessori materials, then perhaps there needs to be some sort of discussion with the educators, or even a change of school if that's possible. That's one little example, but what I'm trying to tell you is that Montessori does not need to be expensive. and it is very much portrayed as an expensive way to raise your children. And I making this video to remind you if you need a reminder, or to encourage you if you feel discouraged, or just to kind of get real with the numbers. Yeah, it's gonna cost a lot. You know, some of the YouTubers that I follow on Montessori, I can see what, like, you can tell they've spent a fortune outfitting their home for their child. But you know, if your child has a $5 secondhand stool that's sitting at the entranceway and that's where they can sit to put their shoes on, like, great. Do they need a fancy wooden chair and some, you know, gold-plated hook in order to put their backpack on? No, they don't. But do they need your face-to-face time every day? And do they need your kindness? And do they need your comfort when they're sad? And do they need your playfulness when they want to play? Absolutely. So if you haven't already, if you're new here and you want to learn a bit more about more of the philosophy sides, I have a ton of videos ranging from grace and courtesy to praising your child, and I will link a few of those down below for you to check out. But for now, that is what I wanted to share about the cost of Montessori, and that it doesn't need to be very high. Certainly doesn't need to be very high in order for you to have success and to feel successful with the implementation of how you Montessori at home, or how you are influenced by Montessori at home. And if you have any questions or any further comments, or you really dislike what I'm saying right now, honestly, feel free to comment. Like, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And in the meantime, stay safe and stay sane, and I'll catch you next time.